Lewis Hamilton has once again stolen the attention of the Formula One world, but not because of his moves on the track. Rather, it was his words that shook the Ferrari team to the core. In an emotional statement, the seven-time world champion criticized the team's strategy, calling it chaotic and ineffective. Hamilton highlighted important decisions that were detrimental to performance and raised big questions about Ferrari's direction and future as a top team. Is this a sign of a deeper crisis within Ferrari? Let's discuss it, and don't forget to press the subscribe button. The 2025 Canadian Grand Prix should have been a turning point for Ferrari. Instead of achieving positive results, however, the legendary team from Maranello returned home with criticism, a chaotic strategy, and anger from its greatest driver, Lewis Hamilton. This is the lowest point in Hamilton's 18-year career. For the first time, he failed to achieve a single podium in the first 10 main races of the season. Not even during McLaren's darkest days did Hamilton experience a crisis like this. Now, Hamilton's anger has exploded. He has expressed it in front of the media, within the team, and even via race radio. The issue is not just the car's performance, but also the team's direction, technical philosophy, and Ferrari's ability to read the race. This season started with high optimism. Hamilton's move to Ferrari was treated like a major event, a megastar transferring from an aging Mercedes to a rebuilding Ferrari. But the reality on the track has been bitter. Out of 10 main races, Hamilton has not even made it onto the podium once. The 2 podium results in the sprint race were disappointing because they did not reflect the team's full potential. Even more ironic is the fact that Mercedes rookie Kimi Antonelli, Hamilton's direct replacement, won pole in Miami and earned podium finishes in 2 full races. Meanwhile, Hamilton continues to finish in 5th or 6th place. It's not his own fault. It's because the car is not competitive and the team's strategy is constantly being questioned. We don't have the speed. We don't have the strategy. And worse, we don't have direction, Hamilton said coldly at the post-race press conference in Montreal. In Montreal, everything fell apart again for Ferrari and Hamilton. In a race full of potential, hope was dashed by confusing strategic decisions. Hamilton was called into the pits at a particularly damaging moment. Instead of returning to the track in a competitive position, he found himself stranded in the middle, too far behind the pursuers and not fast enough to challenge the front group. He was in what is often called no man's land, fighting alone with no slipstream and no realistic chance of winning, relying only on a miracle. His frustration exploded over the radio to his race engineer, Peter Bonington. This strategy is wrong. Now I have nothing. His tone was disappointed and almost desperate. But the drama didn't stop with Hamilton. Leclerc's situation in the other car was even worse. Ferrari showed old weaknesses again, slow decision-making and stubbornness in real racing conditions. Leclerc felt that the initial strategy wasn't working and asked for a change to Plan C, but instead of being flexible, the team insisted on sticking with Plan B, a strategy that seemed out of sync with the situation on the track from the start. The result? Leclerc lost crucial time, momentum, and the opportunity to turn things around. Hamilton spoke further after the race. This is one of my worst weekends ever. It's proof that there's something very wrong with this organization. This sharp statement from the 7-time world champion seemed to suggest that Ferrari's problems were not just technical, but also a crisis of decision-making at crucial moments. The most dramatic moment of the interview came when Hamilton made a meaningful and cryptic statement. There's a lot I want to say. But I can't be too open. What I want to do is be an agent of change within Ferrari. It wasn't just a wish. It was a strong signal from within, a subtle warning that Ferrari was at a crucial crossroads. Hamilton seemed to sense the depth and complexity of the problems rooted in this legendary team for himself. He hinted at invisible internal obstacles, engineers with rigid, outdated mindsets, a slow work system, and a communication process that was too bureaucratic and long-winded. They said, "We've always done it this way." And I said, "But what if we try something different?" Hamilton added this while describing the difficulty of driving innovation in a resistant environment. He also expressed frustration with the slow pace of car development. He said the team seemed too passive in its approach to improving performance. "I don't know why we haven't introduced any upgrades yet. I hope that comes soon. We need a lot of upgrades. We're not in the title race anymore. Now is the time to lay the groundwork for 2026. Montreal was one of the stages where the fundamental limitations of the Ferrari SF25 were most evident. This was evident not only in terms of speed, but also in how the car behaved on the track. I've never experienced understeer like this in my career. The car just doesn't want to turn at low speeds. I can't defend or attack at turns 2 and 10, Hamilton lamented, his frustration barely concealed. More worryingly, despite the setup being described as perfect for both drivers, Hamilton and Leclerc, the car still wasn't performing competitively. This suggests that Ferrari's problems cannot be solved by simply adjusting the setup. The problem's roots are deeper. There is a fundamental flaw in the car's design, and the development direction has deviated since the beginning of the season. With harsh criticism coming directly from its two main drivers, the pressure is now on Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur. Several Italian media outlets are reporting that his position is no longer as strong as before. Although Ferrari has officially denied the news, the unrest within the team is evident and cannot be ignored. Ferrari president John Elkann and CEO Benedetto Vigna are reportedly losing patience. Despite massive investments in team development, the high hopes they have placed have not yet yielded significant results on the track. While some operational aspects, such as pit stops, have shown improvement, this is only a small part of the big problems facing the prancing horse team. The main problems are rooted in the confusing racing strategy and inconsistent technical direction. Charles Leclerc's failure at the Canadian Grand Prix is a clear example of this. A wrong strategic decision completely destroyed the chances of their star driver. Ironically, Leclerc had suggested changing plans mid-race, but the team stuck to their original approach, and the results were disastrous. As the situation becomes more complicated, many observers are starting to ask with dismay, was Ferrari the biggest mistake of Lewis Hamilton's career? Hamilton arrived with a reputation for 7 world titles, high hopes, and a determination to end his career with glory at the most legendary team in Formula One history. But so far, he has found the opposite. A difficult-to-control car, confusing team strategy, inconsistent internal communication, and a garage atmosphere divided by incompatible visions. While Hamilton continues to struggle to understand the SF25's character, Mercedes is smiling with satisfaction at Andrea Kimi Antonelli's performance. Meanwhile, Red Bull, McLaren, and even Aston Martin are all showing positive and steady progress. Ferrari. They are stuck in a vortex of technical and managerial chaos, showing no signs of ending soon. The 2025 season may be over for Lewis Hamilton, at least in terms of the title race. The bigger question now is whether Ferrari has a solid foundation and plan for the new era in 2026. Will they listen to the advice of a 7-time world champion? I came here to win. But right now, I feel like I'm driving for a team that doesn't know what's wrong, Hamilton said bitterly at the end of his interview. It's a short statement, but it conveys a profound crisis of confidence, not just in the car or the strategy, but in Ferrari's overall direction. Ferrari now stands at a crossroads. They have 2 great champions, Hamilton and Leclerc, but they lack the car and strategy to lead them to victory. The criticism has been fierce. The future is at stake. Will Ferrari listen? Or will they repeat their tragic history as the graveyard of great drivers? Share your thoughts below.